Yeah, we can start.
Get started?
Yes.
It's okay. Tasha Dilek. Hi. Welcome to your Neuroscience Pedagogy class for year 3. I'm excited to be here. For the first session, we're going to do a little bit of introduction to ourselves, each other, and to the sort of overall broad goal for this pedagogy year.
Samala touch the less, Tambodilaya. Ne once at Henrique, Theorong, as a lottery rupagi, Hansendela Pepa, Lawrence Badela Pepa, some touch the yes, that the ring gets hot on Tampotic of Sangatsuge, Natsungo to Pansungo to Che, anything Chela Yangasu, Talugo de Laya, Karichi Laya, Mugizon de Tantrigi, Mentico, to Chigians.
So I'm extremely pleased to see some familiar faces in the crowd, but I don't know everybody, so I'll introduce myself first.
That and then Dina Nechitsuna, young Washimba Kachitongodos in as Hamadus Shingamandus in Stambalaya, Tomatelangarang, Chichians.
So my name is Kristen Frenzel, and I have been a faculty member at Emory University for 18 years now.
Milaya Christian Frenzel Segius, Emory Ladus, Giganchi detinda, and the Luchojin Gordudus.
I've taught at Sarah in the Neuroscience program in 2016 and in 2018.
The Sarah ne also Emory subject cups once Henry Tonchugula dus 3 years.
Example. Here
yes.
Is also here. I am showing some pictures of my family and my friends. I have 2 daughters who are soccer players, if you can tell.
Namida Topo Tomotuko to Chichiba and Berangala Pomani, yes, this Tabai Maneshuga, the Tons of the Cronin, Council Policy go yours.
In fact, my husband and I are, our whole family is quite big soccer enthusiasts. In case anybody would like to talk about soccer, I am absolutely happy to do that. And in fact, I see some soccer going on out there.
Pretty much everybody is interested.
Oh, okay, great.
Chokata Nami Kanza to Kansapolo Layatape Gaud in the East. Any Chetsuna, a young Kansapolo like a change to buy in Bennett, Jelayang as to go along Machigos, the Shira, and some Kansapolo New Juris.
Also interested in watching any of the Euros with anybody who wants to, starting on Friday. Okay, anybody? Just other parts of my family include Rosie, our dog, and Leo, our cat.
Rosie, Tadandaraza Pasalayan ko Euroge Cosepulan Chidorwa, this Tambala Tanituna Yamtagos, Tatanda Nalaya Yankoge, Chimiki Chachis by Bana, Rosie, then the Kitty Miller Rosie, and Shimiti Miller Leosigres.
In fact, to emphasize how much our family loves soccer, Rosie is named after Rose Lavelle, the midfielder for the United States Women's National Team. And Leo's official name is Leo Messi Fluffy Pants Frenzelhead. So
that particular Kansapula Hatching Gao, but they could say that junior such a kitten Shimilaya to Smint Atagane Tagores, the Roses said Tanda Arigi, Kansapolo Kinoni, middle feeder Segdo, the Paronis in Yigi, Chikimin Restra, Nishimi Tigimindilio, Mezigmin, the Roa, Tigimi Lieutenant Tasha Juris.
Other things that I love besides soccer, my family and my friends include teaching ETSI, neuroscience, and also really talking to students about teaching in an inclusive pedagogy manner.
That's Hendaji system Balaya, Nami and Tsunami the Karilla Goyos, and Nichil Thompson Trade and Hopper, the ones at Sanritia, then Anshinge Yanko inclusive Sigdo, that's how my Ginoya, that's how my Diagi, and Lotri Batizo, Motochia Goyes.
There we go. Voilà. Okay.
I'm Aminda O'Hare. This is my 5th time teaching for ETSI. I have taught at Sarah Monastery as well in 2017, 18, and 19, and then virtually for the nuns during the pandemic.
Aminda O'Hare yes, Emerita Poch Henry Lerum Ladus Lungas Ladus once a century tribayins, Niton Chudin Juji Jugu Sira Gombala Tribache, and it takes Jelaya, and Lunis Layani Traton indus Chulas Hugans and Rajtoa or Tidus tribayins.
I'm at Weber State University, which is in the state of Utah in the United States. It's out in the west in the mountains. And there I am a professor of psychology and also the director of our neuroscience program.
Weber State Weber Digi School of Chamunan Chigis, that Arigi Tapa, the Napshosagi, Nadijila Yores, that Dinane Angarangatriati, D. Colatrigius, some kind of Colatrigius, Dimisit and once Henrique, Dinsengane, Kudinsen Genzing Likachigius.
I did come to Drepung once before for the graduation ceremony in 2019. And like Kristen, I also really enjoy skiing. I have dogs and cats. They're not named after soccer players, they're named after food.
Krishna Droche, and it and the Chikansha Tilagoyo, Tinaja Samchelagoyo, Tina Senior Social Cash years in Bana Gala Nansing, because a young concept in your game internet.
And then the research I do uses EEG to look at interactions between emotion and cognition, and I look at how training in different types of mindfulness practices can change those relationships in the brain. All right, so as we get to know you, we'd like to ask after this session if you guys could make little name cards that you put in front of you during class, and we can just leave them in class so that we can help us learn your guys' names.
Roxigan Sharoches, that is Tambalaya, Remission that don't try the consents and the Sobi Capse, until at any detention, so Jigminsia, Tangushua, Telaya, a Penthodus, the Norogis.
Super. Okay, so just to talk to you a little bit about the overall goal of this sustainability phase for neuroscience. We are using the strength of the 6 years that you have spent in the neuroscience curriculum. So you have a strong foundation in neuroscience based on that curriculum. And then we are using the neuroscience core concepts as outlined by the Society of Neuroscience for this sustainability phase.
Once it's Society of Neuroscience, Kotsugitan La Pepigi, and Eco Toshil Nyampu, Jenachore, Tita Shisha, Dete, and a Lusum Gale on Sendus Changochigis.
So in the sustainability phase, we're using these concepts as a framework to inform our pedagogy and capture the critical neuroscience learning concepts that we'll be doing in these 3 years.
다 단다 구수기 텔라 페피기 지 도체니 부 예치도와 어디다 시샤데데 아니 루데다가랑라야 고 왕사 센리클로트 파티 간다 드럼스 간다 로치 조멘다 아니 야치 로트 파 공라야 간다 로치 제멘다 티 난싱게 아니 왕사 센리크나네야 고 네토 망부치고라 테탈라 간다 스타멘테탈라야 아주 타기스.
Okay, so this has been, you're in your third year, in case you don't know that, of this 3-year curriculum. So you started this 3 years learning a little bit about neuroscience, what it is. Okay, go ahead.
다다 데르와다 가슬로 코 단다 딜라 시샤데 탄스고로와다 드럼 데틀라 시샤데 탄 가수 단다다 로 숨바딜라 레데오레스 다로 라 tambo데나 가수 카리타요레스나 원자 센리세데 카리레스 투자타요레스.
Other parts of this curriculum have included broad questions like, what do we need to know about the world? How do we experience the world? And importantly, how do we ask questions in science?
Mahata tanda dela shisha de ta ya ja chesa ge twa khachila ta yo res ta picha sha pai bana ane chingwi ge jikten ge korte kandas ha ko chigres ro ane tinasheng asu jikten de kandas nyam sunyong res tinasheng ge ane sen kana la ya ane twa ya pu chi goya la ya kandas ko kures te tola ta yo res.
Using the core concepts you have already discussed in the previous 2 years, core concepts 1 through 4.
Nahata debe lo ni rin la ya tanda ko wansa sen ko chode ge tan la pepe ge ko to ni pu je do wa te ge na ni she la ya che chu debe lo na ta cha res.
You've also discussed core concepts 5 and 7 last year.
Tenan sing ge na ni lo ba na ko to ni pu na ni nga ba ton ba la ya ta yo res.
This year, in year 3, we are focusing on core concepts 6 and 8.
Ta talu im bana nga su su te na ne ko to nyimbo ge tukpa tan jeba te la ya su sin zengins.
Core concept 6, the brain makes it possible to communicate knowledge through language.
Ta ko ge ko to nyimbo tukpa te ka res stambala ya lepa ge tan nga su lepa ge shen de ane kei tang dandage ni de pansang kore ko jurchi grace.
So what we'll do with this core concept is remind you that you've actually already talked a little bit about language in your 6th year of the implementation phase.
Da dige nga su kei tang de chi ta bai bai na che su ka laktar ki rimbati ka sim bai na laktar rimba lu tupa na la che chu ge kei ko chi tis chi jang yores.
As well as we'll expand on some of this knowledge, give you some new information and how to think critically about communication through language.
Ta tanda din stambala yang asuge ta korsa mangji ki shesha chikta yore tina ne lhapar tanda de la yang asuge ane kei la tene skoro ta language ne ke la tene de ta min phansla draw cha ke la tene de ta dande chia ge ne ta te kola ya te singa su shu soputa ge yes.
So for core concept 8, this will probably be quite new information for you when we discuss some discoveries that promote the healthy living and or treatment of disease.
Da tanda de yang ko to nyimbo jepa de mane te siang ko sarvara cha ge ores ta te kar se na ta tanda de la ya jisik senye chongju go ta ko netan te ta ke nga su ge din thang ta ne na cha menchu ge thela ya phengre se jora wa ti res.
Right. So in thinking about these 2 core concepts in which we are going to use as the structure for our neuroscience content this year, I would like you to think about in your groups that you're sitting in right now. Oops, I'm going the wrong way, sorry. Can you think about and make a list with your group mates, 5 things that you already know about these 2 concepts, and 3 things that you'd like to learn.
Ta tanda de la ya chesu ke de chiro che es ro ta da te ta ko ku to ke zo number ni ro ta po te nga su le pa ge bai na ani ke ju de te pha dan de che la phengre se te ta ni ba ti tanda ke se ni de ta ke je pa ti se ni de ta te ne de te nga su ke din ta ta ani men chu la phengre se chi ro wa de ta shi sha de ta de ta la shi sha be su ro te ani se su ru khana la ya ani tu de chiro che es data tan dewa yochu ta tamputi karesena tanda data tan ro tanda ki tondang de ni tan dewa yochu chesu tanda pat to simba karius ha kwa karius ti matro ches rukhana tu de chi ta nibati kareses tambala tanda de ki thela ya sawa shinyi tunya karius tena do sim tro ches
So put these back up here so you can think about and look at in your groups things that you know and things that you would like to learn.
Ta tada de la shashayos tuba de jepati ro ko to so tuba de jepati de shashayos ne rukhana na tride chiro ches ro rukhana la ya tride chiro ches ane tamputi kares na de tak thela ya hakwa nga kare kare haku yes ane jipati la ya de tak thela hakuni tunya sim so chasa oh ya that ro chi tride chiro che consciousness, the relationship between consciousness and the brain.
Okay, excellent. I feel like you've looked at our syllabus because we are going to talk about the relationship between neuroscience and mental health on later in this week. So excellent.
They all do say that don't have kala do by imbana ngasuge once a century tam yani samkhang ke ditap kola yang ngasuge triggeres.
Let's see.
Maybe over there, the last one.
I think that group back there, that corner.
Yes.
Yes. Let's go. That group.
Ta
tandogi nganzogi ta kalorda sheba di thanta borka area di ta ne thanta Onigas area jo. Onigas area nibu tinge ta keta da dewa shibu yo chi. Ta borka area da dewa na korangi kecha di ani ta share jo ra. Oniga area di ke sagu di nalola ani ngazogi ki du chu ani khoya do jo ra. Ti da tade che de che. Ta di dan del ne ani ngazogi she de ba de karela na tanda mi khashila ngazo ani ki tolanga to khadiye dine mudo keda da den anu kho dizo yangger la soya do jora tinde ke thablam de tinde tola ne ngazo jangde yeshi
ta ke doye tele inchi ke kasguna. Something that we know is the Broca and Wernicke area. The Broca area is related to your spoken language, and the Wernicke area is related with understanding of language that is spoken by other. And related to this, we want to know the way to improve or to amend the speech disorder like stammering.
Like stuttering?
Yes, stuttering. Yes. Stuttering or stammering?
Have they looked at our syllabus already? Seriously, we are going to also talk about stuttering later in this week.
Tata re ngasu tadi nang la ya tanda ngasu kasu ta kuya sete mare ta dapchen chon choro ke ma oti kola ya share gi tadi chi yes.
That's great. Okay. Who should we do next? Back corner.
Ta shena goi me.
Yes. The group back here in the back left. Can you tell us one thing that you know and one thing you would like to learn?
ngazogi the shebadi tawdor shake ani ta ngazodi shen de bade dirshat ta mi gashela ge keda yarak keik jae kale shuda ge तो किसी केक दिया ओंसा द डोय न रागे ओंजे सगुल खरे द डोय रे रागे अनि ओंजे सगुल दि यगे तानी रागे मिद जो केक छाएंगे चल रा
yarge tang thu thu mar leja the shege the version
Something we know is pretty much similar they have mentioned, but something we want to know is some people has really difficult learning languages. So can we improve that part of the brain, train that part of the brain to help the people learn language easy?
Excellent. I like that. And I think that might resonate in some of the group projects that we might have them do at the end of the week.
Try apudu studies tambalaya chich tandage chitsuge sombati aninga suge tal somsen de tin judrions tambalaya chitsu leche dugoya khachies or tigenangi ya draw khashi tan dus.
Can we have this group go?
Yeah.
hello
Nongomando.
Hello. 신규는 대체 다우도 그래서 인직기다 통소리라 language는 나다 직디 통소리 되어지네다 통소리기 내출린 인레베 파 단디가단 주라 먼저 신규는 직리셔라
Te kei tan dewa yuchiroya.
게요 아니 딱이 딜라고 당한 저 딱이라는 다 인짐지기 째지고 이마라 짜지고 그래 보드 language 톤 아니 데 대신 되바더라 근데 다 템바냠베 나자들라 아니 윤통기 템바다 아니 그래 유린기 템바스니도 디 템바냠베 강이디 디니니 개발디 다 가는 주요메 직제라 엔타 개발디 강이디 메바스웰라다 먼저 제딘데 다 Neuroscience 톤에 메인들이 야기다네 지기 강이디 세트 요래요 말해서지라
That's all. For something we know is most of them are similar to others, but something we know is when we talk about language, it's not only the spoken language we consider, but there's the body language, there's some other language that we can communicate with. So, in that terms, also the language or the body language or the written language also communicated through the visual system. And then something we want to know is the memory disorders. We have the long-term memory and the short-term memory. So we want to know what are the mechanisms or what are the part of the brain is really related to the short memory loss or long-term memory loss, and how can we use some of the techniques to improve this to memory.
Lost track. Who's left?
Tak
Who
haju
hasn't
galas.
contributed?
Chesla sa.
This group over here?
Ta jandal haju de.
Okay,
1,
great.
2, 3.
Let's go here.
Yeah, on again.
방안순디 신도바지가라 토마토 디직 시바도 발치한 라운드래 신도바디 노니다 만수 계획 만시 간디지 시윤나더니 젬바냐츠스고가 디그 저름다 간디지나 젬바냐츠지거스 디그 저름다
Something we know is similar to other people, and the something we want to know is when we learn a language, how we construct or how we keep that in our memory. So we want to know about the mechanism. Yes.
Yes. All right.
Tak walas dida dilasa. Yeah. Kimati inda.
아니 나랑서 단다가 다시 네 정말 시와대 주반다서 싫어. 다소 아니디 개다디 아니 다가 브로커스 에리아스야 당 윙크스 에리아스야 되니 챌린지야. 아니 당가랑서 신도대 소인데 플라스티시티 세컨드 네로 안시니 시대 아니 간다지 당보니네 픽스 지메야지. 지마 정화된 발라테네 아니 틸란지런 두고 와대. 테마스 단다 소인데 아니 structure function secondwa asa tozuga ani khorang chili ta khorang ani karsa kopa karena eta chili ni ka paro kanti wate ani 연도스 라서
Te gare te shinyi tuk de.
안사가 니 초콜 만들어라 되니 젤리 만들어 용거 어 텐디 딘디 초콜 만들어라 되니 젤리 만들어 때 간다지 용거 요래다
Tate ya wansagi nyenshi tan dewa ta chi shekuro kare.
안사가 년시 당제데 라서
Last one. Something we know is pretty much similar, like the broadcast area and the Wernicke area. Something we want to know is we talk about the neuroplasticity and the structure and the function. So we want to know the relationship between the neuroplasticity and the function and the structure of part of brain or the neurons.
Okay. That sounds great. And we have one more group.
Yeah.
나저 강라 시차이도 집어도 제가 아니 나저 신도요 어디들이 생각도 나저 계획 장그라게 견다 차이들라니 참도 지요리야 말이스 배는 나저 로치에 qabla 직 견다 차이나 망부치야 되네 로체라 로라 삼삼 요리야 말이스 이미 디스 로체 치무도 되야지 계획 차이나 칼리도 돼야 되는 정도다 디스나 당아저 로체 딘디 뭐라 장나 양보래 디젤라 장나 라이제 참도 지요리야 말이스
So something we know is similar to other
Everybody
people's.
knows the same
Yes,
thing.
yes, about neuroscience, about language, and something we want to know is the relationship between age and the language learning. There's a limit of age when
yes,
you
yes,
can
of course.
learn language
Okay.
easier, because sometimes when we grow older, it's really difficult for us to learn language. So
Absolutely.
the relationship between
Okay.
us. Yeah.
All right. This has been incredibly helpful. Thank you so much for contributing. From a teaching point of view, this was really important for me to be able to understand, for me and Aminda, in fact, to be able to understand what our students know and what they're interested in learning.
다 기계치인 비차니 승가다네게 아민다니 책이 우건에 답아인바나 데 하시게 전부 차고 요레스 그렇게 전부 차고 그래서나 소트즈 거리치 신근도스 근데 소트즈 거리치 신이 두고도스 데 학고야 되게 전부 차고 요레스
Right, so a critical component of teaching is understanding where your students are and where they'd like to go.
다 단다 기계치인 비차니 지금 롭트기 차시 개치슈치까레스 담바야 아니 롭트스 아니 단다 다 합버드 단다 디기스고 조진 디기 텔라야 니름 가와치글 해샤 tene ko khasha ko achgan ronye tog dus ti ha ko ke chambres.
Another aspect of teaching is having students engage with the material, engage in their groups, and think kind of critically and reflect on what you already know.
Ta chikare system balaya lotu chimbaina ta chusula ya juchama puch kutochi ore tetala ya pechotanga che ne rokha gane ko nyamte ta tudichi ala sopu shegulan jushi che tinan shinge ne ko ta chikarsagore susu ge jang kari yopati hakwa tang kari hama ko te galaya samshi chi sugoroda oti de tane yerje tanga te ko ta lobjun che dige ayang ko tuche kitchen chagores.
So utilizing practices that emphasize active engagement in the classroom, which is something that you've learned about for this previous weeks, is an important component of learning, reflecting, and an aspect of teaching as well.
Ta chesuga duntra ngomi ngomala ya chesuga jambi garwa lotre pa ge jambi ge nane tanda nga suga harjung ge chashi sugro ta jushi chi de ti jushi che ba ta karishi ge yo me ko to ta ta ane te jela ya samshi chi ta ane chi zinda ge nane ta tanda nga suga harjung ge tablen de ta ta te ane ko ta tanda dis gora ta tanda lomsin de ge ya to che ke cham chagis.
We just go to this. Let's see how much time we have. Okay, great. I think what I'd like to do now is I'm going to pass the microphone to Aminda, and we're going to talk a little bit about some of the pedagogy around, or some of the considerations we have in creating groups for group work. So I'm going to pass the microphone.
Ta tanda ge amela she de tanda sude kare chigin system balaya nga suge tanda de sonsen de tripic ups sane chesula ya rokho goshe je de rokho la ya ne ko likatinda te yorwa the leadership cups ne ngatsu ngoni riwa kanda ruchi chigi sro kare kare la samji chi de ro ko gosha chigi ti korte ke amra lagi sungres. Yes.
Yeah, so I'd like you guys to think in your groups again and then share back to class. As a teacher, what things do you need to think about when you're creating groups in classes? How do you monitor and maintain those groups while they work? And then how do you assess or grade those groups when they present their final product?
Ta tanda chechuge rukhana ni karichiro chis istambalaya rukhana tridachiro chis tampo rukha chizu vikapsa samlona kari zungu res ro ani tigi jela asro tigi jela ya ani rukha te ta mutu juni chi asro mutu juni chi atang kutsu rukha leka kandas chigun dumundu telaya ani kandas tagi imbes ta charati kandas chigi imbes ro ani thama telaya rukha telaya trepege lingen te dus ta tamshe chia ta yamna ko denla ngasuge center chibi kapsa tela ya cheshu kandas chigi bes tito kola ya ne tredechero chis.
Yeah, so let's take about 5 to 10 minutes again for you guys to discuss in groups, and then we'll report back to class.
Ani tanda 5 to 10 minutes kama ngas chigi na la ya tredechero chis on a clarifying. Do they need to think as a student or as an instructor or teacher? Okay. This is right. That Jemala Chesun, that the Giganch Kungan Samotangores, Giganchi in Bana, that Jema Chesun Zandana Puzu, that the Goshajagua, Goshaja Bambana, Kari Karila Samotanga Besta, Ruko Goshaja Stambalaya, Karikari Chashagures, Tampo Chachin Karikarila Shisha Goshajagure, that Rukotila Lingen Tepaimbana, Lingen Teata, Tatan Rugundu Mandula Kandastagure. Ne thamatela ya rukhate ge ta center che ta tamse che pa na ko la cheshu kandastigure ta jacha kandastigure sigurwa ta thamatela chechi je gorwa oti kandastigure mete kamanga ta kama chugna la ya ne twede chiro ches twede chinu jela ne nga sudela yanche ane nyamta twede chigi yens nyamta twede che yens desa gigench kunguni sigore da
이차게 때나 좀이나 담셰이나 가레이나 로 안다 콜라 죽죽이 쳬다고 지땅네 로 디가나 카산단다 개갱이 sab중감나 지랍상 건조 갈세 그래 담자당 조시 카셀 거바치 아니 델 빵다 가세스도 로 델 금생 가세스 장기도 되게 따외도 아니 마캬시 테데인스
딱 저데 체수들 와다가 속에 미세기 리무즈 해야 들어 와
레
와다 미세기 도와
we
will for assessing we will have a rubric to assessing the for instance for the presentation or the essays. We will say the thesis or the topic or the evidence or the conclusions. We'll have a rubric to assess there.
Excellent. Good. Okay, now the back group.
Te chanya de pecha shipa chas tampo de la mix on skills hai derwa te jela is similar to the first one.
Okay.
Te kasa te khabar te ke so ko mum de ches tus sigdo
tatangote chimpandore
resha
ta niyote ngatsu ani thotkisola ani kandi chi dayora kutsu lika kandi chi mete ta ngimete ani thotki chindi mi khola toa tangni lanja khanju ga jigo o te chi che ta sambate sanji chi yora o sanji te ngatsu yigjung do tangni damang ga toa chi yo dam ka ji toa o te tang chi
for monitoring we will randomly ask students if they are working on that or not. Like what do you call that? Random random assessing? like a pop-up quiz or something like that. So you can just randomly ask students how they are doing. So random assessment or something like that?
Random checking in?
Yes. Yeah, that's good.
Good.
For the assessment, we will have multiple choice questions to see how they understand of the topic.
Okay. So
MCQs.
say again.
MCQs, multiple choice questions.
Multiple choice,
Yeah,
got
yeah.
it. Great. Ran out of room. Who do we have left?
That's it.
안지 토거들 라셔
Uh-huh.
아니 나 안저기 당보대 더더를 싫어 저거들 누가 펜진다 다나신다 정말 전임 돈에 써야죠라
Uh-huh, last one.
아니 니바데 누가 얘기 되라 아니 기갱은에다 롭디 채워지도 디루가 정말 봐 켜봐체다 아니 다 양양디 제십 채줘라 아니 다 숨바데 갈라나 다 개개이 루가나마 다제 채용데 양 창말라 참아도 배당로 야 루가 나로 참내야 양 루가 나로기 미 창말라 참아도 해줘 어디 강에 들어쳤어 담아들어
Because monitor tila karchare.
이마 따도 채워라 루가 소소라
Uh-huh.
어디디 창말라 따도 채마도 배되네요라
Uh-huh.
루가 카실라 잡카실라 참아도 배되거든
This is chamaske. Nyo tila monitor chese korwata rukha chila lingen chite pane ti chi dum du kandas tagi yense na. Te karta hai.
이게 다 배기로 개긴 다 배디다 개경이 루아 상말다 양 디제 돈에 양 마다니 따마도 해야 되는 사기로
Tati nyo le kore sumbat le kore.
숨바들
Ta nyo te karchare.
니버들 다 개경이 롭지 제주지도
Uh-huh.
디 상말다 마 루아 상말마 다 사셰 이내를 상마 캬바 나야줘라 루아디 야게 되라
Chaba na asana karachi kore tate.
다 그게 개경이 롭지 되고 전에 야 루아가시 하마고야 되거든 사기로 루아가시 하고나야 루아가시 하마고야 되는 사기로
Uh-huh. Ta tine chana.
디샤나다 루가디기다 코랑이다 대두이나레 디상마 야고 정구마라
Uh-huh.
디기다 괴갱이 롭디 체주데 루가 상마라니 다 캬바
Uh-huh. Laso. Tine. Ta thamati karchi kore.
타마디다 괴갱 타마디다 더우도요다 트레이닝 갈라나다 조유 루가 야제 마드에 지가샤일라나 겐자요라 디다 괴갱디기 마다 루가데 딩네다 직장 파딘다 페드네요라 까불라 디디 갑들라 디제기 타는 마당하자 양 카실 하야 되네 잖아 디레 루가데 양고 칼로르다 타마나시 팀바지 마양이 디레기 겐자 양사레스
Tati so chamasa gelage triati hako so. Rukhala lika chite pai baina ti chindu mundu kandas tagi yens. Thamatele kutsula ya jasha kandas tagi serwa. Ta nyoti dubache sambate kawales.
숨바디다 루가디 야게 마도야기 겐자 들어와
Ta chencha sego ma choranga rukha tigi lika chindu mundu kandas senje gi sere.
아
They're just going around. For the second one is okay. For instance, as a teacher, you need to make sure that the instruction and everything is understood by all students.
Yeah.
The first one is similar to the other. Nyotita digidurwa choronge chilingen chite paimana samage rwa maku mathu mepa china ete kechimbre dowa rwa te jibache ta sambate ta cheje gorwa ta kuzu chi jibaina te jibate cheje gorwa cheje ala karchigins
다 더우도 차서 다 루가 코로나 다 개개인에 다 녜메 돈에 티바 따야 되네라
aha dalaso that next
아존디 당보대 그 자님도 고디 간다 고통디라 게데서 삼직시고야
아하.
하나 약속 놓고라 도마 성에 자님지야 양나 님에 근데야
aha
하대 양수
this super rawre to aha
근데 다 근데 이렇게 남동 영화들라 다 이제 har종지고요라 har종지야 शे고들라 정말 냠식지야
아하
다 들라서 양 냠식지야라 har종조지야 당더니 드라마 보용할 때라 강의 때 돈은 지고 정말 다 도와줘야 돼 근데 담아들라 셰십지용 디간다 리믹존에 다디 담시 그 고름 주면 당 조샤 참은 근데 디솔라서 과당진지야
aha for the first one similar we have mix and random we talked about that for the second one nyotila ka sore ke kugi chindum telaya chale che kiche tretes korwa ale for the second one monitoring chorange they will use active learning method or like discussion or sort of stuff to monitor the participant And for the assessment, we'll have a rubric to understand this mentioned earlier. We will assess their presentation.
Great.
Take a last.
아주 소바디 데리셔 나 가서 당고시도 디아니 진짜 소바 마서용을 소바는 진짜 가져요메 로브 가져요메 디타 델타는 아니 소바서야체 당고디 디리스다 클래스 사이즈 타이저라 온디도 오체 아니 니바딜라니 소바디 서였잖아 소바딜라니 다도 칭엔 그룹 리더도 고해줘라 온디체 숨바디 에세스먼트 디리셔 당저 아니 법 스틱 치네 디 담시 셰줘라 법 스틱 디 녜메부톤 담해줘라 어디 법 스틱 라이더나
That's a pop stick, yeah.
법 스틱 어세스먼트
So for the first one, creating, we will divide the student into group based on the size of the class, the total number of the student. And for the monitoring, we will have a group leader to check on the everybody's participation. And for the assessment, there's a pop stick assessment. They will just they will given they will have lots of questions in a ball or vest, and then they just pick up on the topic, and they will just speak on the topic.
Okay.
It's quite a pop stick, P-O-P.
Popsicle stick.
Popsicle air.
pop stick ye gwa kan so dinde ge lup thu ki ming dinde tin ko di ya tension na digora
Ole.
thank you
Pop stick. Pop stick. Okay. That's hasa. Chil hasa. Ale do chil ha deora.
ngazo gaji thangbo di ngazo group di khande suin lana an thangbo namju jina nangla thugo jira kozo leader sha an shimba dum random chine kozo la kopsha ga di chaza niwa de ne kozo khande do the monitor che dang de ne kurang zo group la ga chin sa mane ngar korean do jira kora ge ne do ne sama ane kozo kyonzo thanda la ga kawal ne kijati 아니 킨졸라 마신 바카르도 아니 고마스기오 카르도네 티와 틀린치네 코즈 카와 콜레돈 다야저라 아니 에시스 쉐딩 안저게 디레 코즈 미레레레 아니 쿠랑 그룹나 미 레레레 셰주 소소소 토픽 저라 안델라 아니 티와 레레레 당야저라 에시스 쉐딩
For creating a group, we will have the more active student as group leader, and then we will randomize the student for each group. And for the monitoring, we will have regular check-ins, go around and see how they're doing, what the questions they have. Yeah, random checking in. Yes, questions and answers, see if they have any problems. And for the assessment like what is that?
Assessment de kozo tamshi kurang so
Yeah. This for the for assessment, we will have them present on that topic, and we will ask them questions, follow-up questions on the presentation. That's how it, Sama.
That was everyone, right?
Sama kukarasa. Rasana like the courage, Oramba. Yes.
Excellent. All right, so there isn't a right or wrong way to create groups. And as you guys have shown, there's a lot of things to consider based on the type of class you're teaching, how big it is, the type of students you have.
Ta tanda de chi rukha zugi kapsa chi duwa ta no asa te yo mares na sopa yo res ta tanda che chu de la ya che chu ge gon su somba na shin ko ne ta mampo chi la ta gu do as lo tik lo ka sa shi che ge yon den re ne zenda ge chi chong re ane tinang shin ge ane chorong ge yang thon sen kari chi thig yo mes ko wa o te te la ra le de ta ko rukha go sha ja ta de na sopa yo res.
One consideration that didn't come up is kind of similar to mixing your groups based on skills or knowledge, but and we do that right because we want the groups to be balanced. We want students that are struggling to get supported by students who are feeling more confident. But another way we can balance is on other aspects of diversity.
다 시티카레 시스템 발에 단다 지금 마트 바치 총송스다 단다 되게 시티 체수게 가리간 해요레 시스템 발아야 아니 직시샤다 뉴발라텐데 데데 아니 직찬용부 중요하시거와 대간래 망부치 총송스와 네 현다 데 체수텔레샤시 데탄테네 데탄 아수 다이버시티 시스템 발아다 나소바스거다 다테 갑스 가리치글라 구요메 단다 송도거레와 어찌가 나소파게 다이버시티 시스템 발아다 아수 왜냐가 미르 망부스거다 어딘다 오임바나 찬용부 So,
for example, students from different monasteries, different backgrounds, different age groups are going to have different lived experiences, and they'll have different perspectives on the ideas and topics that are being discussed. So sometimes you want to balance that out to expose students to other people's unique perspectives.
Jajong mandawa, nyamnyong mandawa, shitsamadabata, nasupayorwa, this tambalaya, data yang sama chi duasgorota, nyamtoyachilaya, gombajiguris.
Good. Was there anything else, Kristen, that we wanted to include?
Want to ask them how they want to narrate?
Yeah. Yeah, and then teaching in America, one of our biggest concerns with making group work is the idea of social loafing, where students will let the leader do all the work, and then they'll try to take the credit for the work somebody else did.
Tatanda Pini National Suge Loptakalaya, Rukok Lekat in the Tenuga Jela, and a young Karsgore, Tachikange, Yosetica Resistambalaya, Rukana Yopigi Rumita, Sopa Somikanzage, and a Lekatsu, get the Rukan Genki Telechichi, and a Tamatela Susuki, and Donochi in the Netayores, that the Yanchikali Kapuchi Chagores Pala.
Yeah, so the monitoring techniques are just to help with that, right? To make sure that students are equally contributing to the project and being responsible for their own work.
Tanda de kapsu chara chia sa ta kusu ki tata chin dum du tato chia te kare se stambalaya ane lotu ki susu ngone lekate la ya ane kasukure ta ko lekati ki lekachi ki yopata ane lekachi patila tene de ta kola jacha ta chorwa ote chia inchi yongwa chi chi yores.
So, given all this, we are curious what you guys think is the best approach for the group project we're going to do in this class.
Sorry?
We're curious what they think the best approach is for our class for creating our groups for their project.
Ta tanda data si shabai bainas, ta chechu ta bai baina, ta ngatsu ke tanda ke wangsa chenre kan zenda di ke kapsa swa, ta lonten data ke kapsa, ane chi rukho gosha jagala ya, thablan kandas tana yakshu yong sarwes. Joko sa. Al joko zuma so da tanda ngasu de la tanda ngasu chesu ta chesu gela chi chesu ma bala lotus la they not clear with the question, just repeat it again. Ta jima ta tanda ke trote ka chesu jima gigin chi bai bana kandas lotus kandas gosa jakin sle chesu de tambarwa ta tanda as ta ngasu tanda wansa chari thigurwa ta wansa chari de thibi kapses ta ngasu ke chesu rokhola gosa jabai bana rokhola gosa jala thalan yasu te kari tang gosares ta roka kandas gosa jagosares gor ta sayade ta dela mampu she sarada Nasor anjali de kanda desha some of that they say like we need you have mentioned about the diversity, and it says we need a group like us because we have the monks representing from 4 or 5 monasteries.
Cool. Yeah. Are other tables entire like one monastery?
Yeah, this one.
Penandi resha 파드네 레가체 야나니 다스 집어 있는 또디부도 구만 파페세시고 제도여라 디노에나 믹스 체니야
So for our future teaching tasks, it's better to have the same group from the same monastery so we can build up our skills together and plans together. But for have like a wide range of perspective, we have better to have a group of mixed participants from different monastery.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you guys sitting in your groups you had for physics?
The manchitus deora, kashi jodan roe. Chesu ngam sari ke rukatana deor wesa. Ah.
Deo mare.
A little bit. Yeah.
Change gonna shire. Ah. Manchishi deshaya ngasi chesu panachina mashi susu ruka anja deora. Ah. Ah. The chesu rukanane go do sare. Ah. Yeah, some are. There's only few stays the same, but most of them are changed.
Okay.
난저 란자레샤
Yeah. chesu dange rukad ta kemende. Dange desa juja sir mas rukad juja sa yo marwa ta jetina dig du kemende. Yeah.
Cool. So are you guys wanting to work with the groups you're with currently? Or do you want us to find a different way to create groups?
I think it's better to create a different group. Tanda kila try to sara. Tanda chesu roko yoba tu roko kali yoba ta anja jigimbe ngatsungone chesu yanse roka chuzo shagas. Ah. They want to stay in the same group.
That's what. Yeah, why? Why is that important?
Karchine esa da ranja de junse kare yes karchine ke chambu esa.
Mare ke table mang channel sama tutu tang sarage.
Ah,
table mang channel sama tutu tang sarage dena. Ka kunjo group de chiba desha made shimba ngazo ina di khagar. Je sona ngazo bet khagar ke. Sama khagar.
Yeah,
mang cha sama tutu tang shalwa.
they're saying that only this group has not changed, but pretty much all the other groups are changed from the physics group. We already mixed, so I changed
They're
one.
feeling like they've done it.
Yeah.
And why does this group want to stay together?
That's just a question of the interest. Mara, kele ngoma thana ra. Ra, ore.
게 가서 한번 긴 다와 가서 디 그렇다다 디실어서
ore.
네 조세들마다 아니 가서 다가는 데래로 아니 잠바스 sama 제마자 가서 라디아 제가
Like at the beginning of the class, I asked them to just the front sitters go to the back and then move to one table up, but they did this. They listened to me, and the others just randomized their group.
Samso shuntiregi.
Aha.
Tangazum maum bada loktu chargo dus chero ada.
Aha.
The loktu chargo cheso dambo di lagdar soso chego. Di in group some two.
I have a suggestion, because in the future we become teachers in our monasteries, and we want to randomize, or we want to create the groups. So my suggestion is to model what we think we are going to do. We need to create a new groups for this for this session, for this neuro session.
Yeah. So how should we?
What
method should we use?
ngi chenara yangyur tijataina ani ngema dingenge ngongong yang group de ranje chigwa kiru sang tanda changma tu sheda
that try the language are say kandas tiju tange besa da yeah, it says like we can make everybody stand up and I give numbers 1 to 9 and then sit on table 1 to 9.
They want full random?
Yeah. Yeah, most of them prefer to stay in the same group that they have now, because it's not the same group as earlier the physics sessions. Yeah, they want to stay like this.
Okay.
Okay.
We're fine with anything.
That's just
We just want you to think about the pros and cons of different groups and the dynamics of the groups.
Rata tan ngaso sampai chisu kana nana dig dus ta suti imbaina rwa chi ru commando do bana tela yang ko tri tang chia gi chi khagu mando chi ngora khoi mando chi ngora o te ta la te de ta yang ko ranje de bana yang juja bana khipen kare ore chunche kare ore sta te ta la ya samlu ta te ma tope ngasula tagana deshan dig dus.
Great. Okay, so now we're going to introduce our. We're out of time?
Yeah.
No, we're going to go on tea break.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the social person to lessons.